So, good morning. My name is Anna Kay, and I'm 35. I just want to make that clear, just because there's going to be a lot of like a lot of episodes where I'm at times, and it's like how old am I actually? And it's a video documentary of myself and my progression. So I'm putting that out there. So I have poor audio when it comes to doing the my music therapy. Like I did the poor audio, so it's not going to work out as well as I want to, which is okay because I'm doing it to increase neuroplasticity in my brain and to heal my brain. I've got a whole bunch of scientific theories, and I want to actually test them out with actual practical things. Like I'm learning the classical guitar. So that is going to be, and I'm doing I'm teaching myself the classical guitar. So I'm going to be coming up with these techniques that I think are good, like will enhance neuroplasticity in my brain and inevitably heal myself. I am okay. So the reason I'm going to be doing all of my videos in live stream, mainly because I have a problem with my email address. I know it doesn't correlate, but the issue with the email address is that I sent an email to the dean of strategy and innovation at the George Brown College. Sometime back in March of 2020, and well, in 2020 still, March of 2020, and it got returned to me with a it was attention to him, but it was sent to the admissions department, and it came back with a response, but the email message I sent to the admissions department was not the exact email. And I shouldn't even say it had bits and pieces of the email, but it wasn't the email. And it was like cut and paste of like the emails that I actually was sending out. So someone has gone through my email address and has edited my email. So I'm sure this is going to be edited too. And I kind of have to understand that, you know what, I don't know much about technology and I can't do anything about it. But the whole purpose of this is not to get attention from people, because no one really cares about what I have to say. I'm positive about that. But what it is, I'm doing this for my benefit and because I have a plan. I have the most beautiful plan ever, and it is to heal myself. So that's one of the, all of these are going to be live streamed, and I love that this can actually happen. So the benefit, like I said, is going to be so that I can keep a diary of progress. I'm going to continue to teach myself the classical guitar. I'm going to be actually sitting down and focusing on the piano for once since age 16. And I'm going to be trying to fine tune my abilities with the violin. I'm up to level 4. I've only been playing for a year and a half now. And I basically believe that I'm a musical prodigy. I am that conceited in myself that I believe I'm a musical prodigy, and I'm going to document this journey that I'm going through as well as heal myself. Okay. So this is and it just kind of goes into the understanding of what I'm trying to do with my life. It's more of I'm trying to get my witch's license, and it's a new understanding that that just came to my head. We are all going to be shifting into a new consciousness, and we're going to be going back to the planet Mercury. And the planet Mercury is where magic school is, and we're all from Mercury, and this planet is a simulation planet. This is where we go and do all of our adventures and all of our learning, and then we go back to school and we write our papers. There's a little bit of there's a glitch that's going on with it right now, and I'm very excited to get out of it. Very excited. Okay, so I started this magical journey back in 2012, January specifically in 2012, because because I woke up one morning and I went to get something to eat, and I put the food in my mouth, and all of a sudden I started feeling excruciating pain. I don't know, I didn't know what was going on. I continued chewing. I ate. I finished the meal. Within a minute of like putting the food in my mouth and eating it. Um, the first bite, I basically my brain, I couldn't focus. I was feeling I was feeling excruciating pain. My body temperature started elevating. I felt like I had a fever. My sternum was burning. I was incredibly sleepy. My eyes were burning. And these are food, and what I was eating was food I've been eating since like high school. I eat on a regular basis. I eat regular food. It's not, I wasn't trying anything new. So I went to sleep, and I woke up in like a residual pain. Like it was the most weirdest thing ever. I'd never experienced it before. And then the next day I ate, and there's something just clued into my head. It was like clued into my mind. I was like, you know what? It has to do with the salivary glands. There has to be something wrong with the salivary glands. Because in grade 12 biology, my biology teacher expressed that if there's any sort of pain in the body, that means that the homeostatic gradient is actually just going haywire. And that there needs to be some investigation going on, because the body is not supposed to be in pain, especially if you're eating. I mean, that part that I said, especially if I'm eating, kind of comes from what I'm saying, because that's the logical understanding. You're not supposed to feel pain when you eat. So I basically thought that it's a salivary glands. I was having problems with basically either creating the amylase, I think what's it called, lipase, amylase, lipase, protease. So like the protein, and so they basically, in respective order, it's the carbohydrate enzymes, the lipid enzymes, and the protein enzymes, and they basically aren't properly digesting the food, because that's actually the one of the first parts of digestion. And that means that I believe that the first part of my digestion was basically compromised. I was in a lot of trouble, and I needed to figure out what was going on. So I basically stripped everything out of my diet and basically said I need to go back to the basic of everything. So the first thing, and I wrote about this in my WordPress website in 2012, called the Hummingbird Chronicles. I was going through some it was really it was hard what I was going through in 2012, and I basically I ate coconut raw coconut oil, raw honey, and cashews. Those are the first what I tried. It worked wonders. I was basically getting my amino acids from the coconut oil. I was getting I don't remember what's in I can't remember what's in honey. The amino acids, I think, no, I just said amino acids for so amino acids in the honey, what is it called? The metabolism. Coconut oil helps to metabolize helps the metabolism. So I was getting that. I was trying to see if I can boost my metabolism, see if maybe like my ATP needed, getting some extra electrons for my ATP, my Krebs cycle, and I didn't like my electron transport chain. I was trying to figure out what was going on. I basically went back to the cellular level with the basic knowledge of science that I knew. And then what I did is that I basically needed a protein. So I got nuts. So I ate cashews. After a while, I started the cashews started tasting like different flavors, like chocolate. I started tasting chocolate from the cashews. It tasted like butter. The cashews normally taste a little bit like butter, like the fresh cashews. They taste like butter, but it tasted actually like butter to me. But anyways, okay, so on the it was going on for several months. By July, by summer, I felt like it hadn't stopped, and it had actually gotten worse. Like I had only been eating once a day, just to basically be able to keep myself focused throughout the day, so I can actually what's it called? I can actually do research, because if I eat a breakfast and a lunch and a dinner, or breakfast, snack, lunch, snack. Basically, I'm sleeping the entire day. So I needed to basically make sure that I was able to do research because I have to help myself. I had to figure out what was going on. So I basically, when I realized that the coconut oil and the honey and the cashews were helping, I started just eating little bits of it throughout the day. But I kept my stomach active, kept my stomach ate, during the digestive processes. Every couple hours I would have something, and eventually it stopped working. And I was in a funk, and I wrote on my WordPress account, the Hummingbird Chronicles, that I was going to die. I actually really thought I was going to die because it's been like 7 months. My body was obviously not getting in the proper nutrients, and it was getting worse. It was getting worse, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't go to the doctor because I had an understanding of why I shouldn't have gone to the doctor, and it's a future it's the understanding that I actually lived through. I didn't go to the doctor immediately because I had an understanding that this is of what I had experienced after 2012 that was going to happen, and I was in so much pain. I did chemicals household chemicals, perfumes, cigarette smoke. They all gave me the exact same problems. I couldn't go outside all the time to basically go to a doctor to see them tell me that I have to go to another doctor. I couldn't do it. I had to actually get my body stable first, and that's what I was trying to do. Because stable doesn't mean I'm cured. Stable just means I'm able to actually go outside and actually be able to do things. So I basically, on my WordPress account, Hummingbird Chronicles, I wrote my OW number and my full name, and I'm like, you know what? And I wrote it to Canada too. I wrote it to Canada, and I said, you know what? I basically feel as though I'm going to die. This is for forensics, just so if they actually understand what had been going on. So basically, my family wakes up and I'm dead. They actually understand what's actually been going on. These are what was going on. These are my thoughts, and my thoughts were actually clear. And I do understand my thoughts were clear because I'm conscious, and I have insight, and I actually do. I monitored my progress. I actually wanted to be a doctor before this all happened, and before I left U of T. And I tried. I really tried, and I do know I have the ability to become a doctor, and this journey that I'm going through actually basically proves it to myself. So I was experiencing auditory hallucinations, and I understand that that's not a good thing, and I should have actually probably sought help immediately with auditory hallucinations. But I was actually mentally stable enough to kind of understand that the auditory hallucinations was basically because of my inability to process foods properly. That should have been the first things the psychiatrist actually looked at with me when I voluntarily put myself in the mental health ward of the hospital, when I started experiencing visual hallucinations. I was watching Big Brother Canada, and one of the female contestants actually astral projected out of the television, stood in front of me, and told me that I shouldn't go to the hospital. Are you okay? Now now it's time to go to the hospital. There's something I need to basically figure out. I can't do this by myself anymore. It's gotten a lot worse. So I go into the hospital. I explain specifically what has been going on, specifically what's been going on. I was told that I lack insight, and that I'm exhibiting signs of functional deterioration. So now I'm diagnosed with schizophrenia. I'm taking 37.5 milligrams of risperidone. My mother is my substitute decision maker, because that would be the best decision for me, because because I was eating sprouts as well. The psychiatrist told me that sprouts were not healthy. And I'm like, are you serious? So basically, they're not listening to me. And that was one of the things why I didn't actually go in the beginning, the onset of the situations. Because if I'd have gone in, I would have been in a lot of pain. I had to eat the food in the hospital, and I slept all the time. And I couldn't, they give such small portions. I need large portions. I eat a lot. I eat good portions. And basically I had small portions. I was hurting all the time, and basically I was actually freaking out, not running around going crazy, but I was actually I was tense, I was agitated, I was really anxious. Like and like my body was basically deteriorating. It was, but not because I was mentally unstable. It was because my digestion was going like haywire. They didn't look at that. I'm sure I don't remember what if I had to take in blood work in 2012. I was perfectly fine in 2012. There's nothing wrong with my blood work, and I'm like, how is this possible? So you know what? I'm like, fine, whatever. The doctor said it. The psychiatrist says it's in my head, which is an understand. I mean, it's true. Schizophrenia is the misfiring of neurons in the brain, and that causes cognitive impairments. It does. If the brain isn't functioning properly, like it's not going to, you're not going to be, capable of living properly. So yeah, fine. I'm like, I accepted that understanding a little bit. And so what happens now is that I went out onto the streets in 2015. I went into the streets of Toronto because it was just like, it was a housing dispute, and it was a beautiful experience. I made a pact with myself that I was going to listen to. I just burped. I was going to listen to my intuitive notions. I was going to listen to everything that was going on, and it was a marvelous experience. I sat indoors because it was during the winter time. I sat indoors as long as I could, and I wrote in books, like whatever money I had. I bought a couple books and some pens, and I just started documenting my journey throughout the time. I mean, yes, I ran out of money, and I had no food, and I was too scared to beg for money. But anyways, I got tackled. I mean, this was just me following my story, the psychic story. But I got tackled at the LCBO in Toronto by these two men because I was stealing 5 bottles of absinthe. And okay, I didn't tell the judge why I was stealing because I chose not to talk, because I was just like, I was very, very angry at life. Is because the stories that I know of that are like coming. I mean, yes, it does sound schizophrenic. It really does. Like, I mean, there's so many there's a lot of critics about being like about psychic acumen. I mean, it does sound crazy, but you know what? You have to just like, I'm going to live my life, and I understand how to basically survive. But yeah, I was in the story in magic school. Everything, there was an upheaval, and everyone is permanently stuck in this simulator. We're in a simulator right now, and we're living out so many lives at one time, and we have to figure out what to do. That's why there's so many different people, like just not being able to cope with life, and just like people, going through the different ups and downs of life. None of that's supposed to happen. Life is actually perfect. It's supposed to be perfect. And the magical fairies. People don't believe in fairies, but I do. I believe in fairies. And they needed the absinthe. So basically, I was in the real world, so I had to put through my moment. So I put through the moment. I got tackled by these two men, and I got put in solitary. Well, I put myself in solitary confinement by not talking to anybody. So I was in solitary confinement for about a week. I got out, and then the next that same day, I got citizens arrested at Eaton Center. But anyways, the whole point is that so what happened is that I got charged with theft under 5,000. I took a bag, a scarf, mittens, and a hat because it was winter time, and I had nothing. I was pissed off. I needed those things to keep myself warm, and that's all I took for that part. And then I only took 5 bottles of absinthe, but I got charged with theft under 5,000, and I got charged with assault, which is very, very funny. But anyways, so now in 2015, I was at 2015, 2016, out in the streets of Toronto. So now in 2016, I was in this shelter, and I'm not sure because I didn't have my glasses on at the time, but it was either a white old woman or a white old transgendered male. But I got the police called on me because I said that I was going to kill that person because they kept telling me that I stole their identification. I wasn't in a good space, but literally I didn't do it. I didn't take I did not take it, the identification. I didn't talk to anybody. I did get in a little altercation with a person because she told me I stole her spot. And I'm like, I'm sitting, like, I moved from one seat to the next, and I stole her spot. So I got into a little altercation, but it wasn't that person. It was like another one. This other person said I stole their identification. They were just trying to like put some, like they were trying to actually put heat on me. So like I had to say something, and you know what? It was a good thing. I got put in a mental health institution again, and what happened is this time I guess I'm re-diagnosed with schizophrenia because I've got cognitive impairments and blah 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 blah, and now I'm taking 50 milligrams of injectable risperidone. I keep telling the exact same situations about my stomach and my eating, or what I call disordered eating. I said that in my Hummingbird Chronicle what is it called? WordPress account. I called it disordered eating. That's what I call it, because basically there's something wrong about it. It's not that I don't have an eating disorder where I throw up because I feel that I've eaten too. I have a visual lack of I don't have visual confidence. I don't have visual confidence in myself. Like I don't see myself as beautiful. Like it's not that I'm anorexic or bulimic. It's just that there's something disordered about the way my food is processed. So I called it disordered eating. And so now I'm getting 50 milligrams. I've explained it. Whatever, I can't do anything about it. I am on injectables, and I went back to work. I'm tired every single day. My pain is still there. I can't do anything. I have no motivation to do anything, and it was different for me. I've never had no motivation to do anything, and I basically got tired of being patronized by the doctors, because basically, if they keep telling me that there's nothing wrong with you, and I keep telling the exact same thing because that's the only thing that is my problem. Why isn't there something else wrong? There has to be something medically wrong with me. If basically every time I eat, I feel pain, I get tired, my brain gets, I get confused. I can't read properly sometimes, and a vast majority of the times I have trouble reading and comprehending. I can write properly, and I'm speaking better now. Like I actually have the confidence. I'm speaking better now, but I actually I accepted the schizophrenic understanding because of the cognitive impairments that it says that is associated with a mental disorder. I do have cognitive impairments. Like I said, when I read, that's why I basically failed out of U of T, St. George, because I literally, in my lectures were great. I'd understand the lectures. And then I'd come home and I'd read the textbook as best as I could. And I just couldn't get past certain paragraphs. I couldn't get past the paragraphs. And I noticed this in grade 12 as well, in grade 12 English, where it took me the longest time to read my final reading assignment. That you have to pick a book and you have to read it and annotate it and write an essay. My essay, my essay was fine, but it was just like getting past that first paragraph and getting past the first page and actually understanding the first chapter. But anyways, I'm digressing. So in in January of 2020, this year, I noticed that I had a lump right underneath my so not right underneath, so it's about 3 centimeters underneath my xiphoid process, and it's long. It's long about in lengthwise it is about 4 centimeters, and in widthwise it's about 1 centimeter, and it's 3 centimeters away from my xiphoid process, which basically is the intestines. And in January, when I pushed it, it was hurting. I didn't want to go back to the doctor and talk to the doctor, my general practitioner, because I've had so many tests done by my general practitioner. I've had the barium swallow, I've had chest x-rays, I've had blood work after blood work. Everything is normal, and the doctor keeps telling me, I'm like, are you serious? So I'm like, I'm not going back. I'm not going anywhere to talk to another doctor. I'm gonna have to figure out what to do. So now, what's it called? I vomited in April of 2020, and I vomited in a way that made me started thinking about something I never actually thought before. I think I may have stomach cancer, just because of how I vomited and how much that, like, and what it looked like. I've never read anything about it. It was an intuitive understanding that I have stomach cancer. I'm not, what's that word? Hypochondriac. I'm not hypochondriac. I'm not hypochondriac. Okay, so because of just me being me, I got put in the mental health ward in Mississauga Hospital, in October of 2020. Okay, so I go in again. I started my journey with Mississauga Hospital. I started my journey with Mississauga Hospital, and I told them everything in 2012. But hey, I'm back again. So I started it again. I started talking to them about everything that's going on, how it has changed throughout the years. I've even explained to one of the nurses what I call disordered eating. And she's like, oh, okay. You know, so like, I think they're listening, right? So I explained to the psychiatrist what's going on with me. She says, okay, I'm gonna get the medical doctor come and talk to you. The medical doctor comes in about 2 minutes later and says, so I hear you're having a little stomach discomfort. I'm like, are you serious? Stomach discomfort? After what I told the psychiatrist, and I specifically said things. So the whole point is that it's either it's not whole point, not either. It's like I'm not being listened to. No one hears what I'm saying, and there's basically some sort of like there's a big conspiracy going on. So I'm gonna have to heal myself. I have to figure out how to heal myself, and I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna do this video documentary to basically do it. It took me it took 8 years. My hair doesn't grow well enough. Well, actually, my hair doesn't grow well. And it's I believe that I'm going to be able to grow my hair. I'm going to heal myself to the point where I can actually grow my hair. I'm actually going to my body is going to actually fill out in a different way. I believe that I'm underdeveloped for a 35-year-old woman. So what it is that my breasts are going to grow, which I mean, like that's the miracle of magic. I'm saying it's a miracle of magic, and anyways, so okay, so now at this October 20th, psychiatric hospitalization, I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So now I'm taking 4 milligrams of risperidone, 750 milligrams of valproex sodium, and 2 milligrams of a medication that counteracts the side effects of the medications that I'm taking. After everything I've been explaining, that's literally what I have to take. And I'm like, okay, well, okay, sure. So, okay, when I was in the hospital, they said my potassium levels are low. They told me my potassium levels were low. Okay, so at the Mississauga Hospital, I got kicked out, and I forced myself back in. I literally had to figure out how to get myself back in. There was something definitely wrong with me in 2012. They kicked me out, and when I forced myself back in, they told me, oh, your potassium level is low. It's actually too low. You need to take this medication. Like, you need to take the potassium tablets. Like, why didn't I get this before? Like, I got kicked out. And if I didn't get kicked out, I wouldn't have these potassium tablets. So I got really pissed off. I'm like, yo, anyways. So I'm now in the Mississauga Hospital again, and I'm now because I'm in the hospital. I mean, I'm taking the potassium tablets. I'm taking vitamin tablets, and the medical doctor on my discharge day, or probably a couple days before my discharge, medical doctor says, my white blood cell count is a little bit off, but it's no concern to keep you in the hospital. It's not a big deal. Just you can go home and do a follow-up with your family doctor. Okay, right. So when so I'm in a psychiatric ward. I'm even in the medical ward as well. I was in the medical ward. So I was in the emergency ward, I was in the medical ward, and I was in the psychiatric ward in those 3 orders. everywhere I went, there was always some girl voice saying, "But I'm Anna Kay. I am," and they literally were crying out. So like, and even in the psychiatric ward, like every single day, a nurse comes in and talks to me. The door, like when they're leaving and they're going, some girl down the hall was talking about, "But I'm Anna Kay. I'm the one who's Anna Kay." And it's like, I don't like, I like, there's something really seriously going on. But hey, I'm gonna heal myself. Anyways, everyone knows that there's a psychic out there that basically knows me, right? Every psychic, like, there's a psychic there that is the top psychic, and that psychic knows me. Well, I'm psychic too, and I'm gonna heal myself, and I'm actually going to document it. Like, no one has to watch this. No one needs to care about me. I care about myself, and I'm going to live, and I'm going to grow my hair. I know it. I know it. I know it. So now, again, with this whole stomach cancer thing, a few days ago, it was actually about 3 days ago, after 12 hours of eating, I threw up, and I saw whole chunks of potato still in my vomit, and to me, that's a red flag. I mean, to like actual doctors, it's not a red to actual doctors, what I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing is psychiatric, and it's in my head. I have problems that I can't explain, and they can't explain. But the understanding is that it actually ties into what I've been doing for myself since 2012. The potatoes actually, like, I mean, there were small chunks. And sometimes, when people eat, they don't chew the 65 times you're supposed to chew. They chew enough, and then they swallow. The hydrochloric acid in the stomach is supposed to break it down into chyme, so that it could is basically so that it can go into the intestines. But basically, after 12 hours, my hydrochloric acid didn't do any of that stuff, and I vomited up whole chunks, not even deteriorating chunks, like actual solid chunks of potatoes. So there's something wrong with me. I'm basically going to diagnose myself with gastrointestinal cancer, which I do believe is like the non-curable kind, because you can't, it's like brain cancer, and I believe brain cancer and gastrointestinal cancer and blood cancer. You can't get back from that, because blood, it goes everywhere. Every part of your body is now have cancer cells. I can't see it any other way. If your brain's going, every organ is already shutting down. So really, there's a problem. And now, if your stomach's going, you're not getting the nutrients and minerals that make you viable for life. So yeah, basically, those are like, I've got a really bad cancer by my self-diagnosis, and I'm not a doctor yet. But I want to be. Okay, but anyways. So now okay, so basically, like I said, these are going to be live streamed documentaries of my progression. I'm going to be doing musical therapy to basically in attempts to minimize the misfiring, because I'm still going to go with the understanding that I'm schizophrenic, and I do like I have it's not okay. It's not okay. Okay. It's not as oh crap, what was I talking about? Oh no, crap. What was I talking about? I just had a throat thing going on. I don't remember what I was talking about. Okay, well, that shit will happen sometimes. Oh yes, okay. So I'm still gonna go on the understanding of schizophrenia, because that is a good understanding. Misfiring of neurons wreaks havoc on the body. It does. And I'm going with that understanding, and I'm going to minimize it with music therapy and basically learning the classical guitar and doing the finger techniques. Like I'm only starting with a 3, and I've actually noticed that I do have, like, classical guitarists are like brilliant in my, like, just the potential, like the actual potential I see from being able to play the classical guitar, and knowing of what my limitations are. They're brilliant, these classical guitarists. And even though the rock stars who can basically shred basically literally, anyways, yeah, shredding. I don't need to Anyways, it's phlegm. Like they like to be able to do that, to use to basically to be able to coordinate both hands, fingers, hands, to be able to incorporate the fingers of both hands at the same time and actually do it swiftly and effectively is brilliance in my eyes. And I want to get to that level, and I do believe being able to do that will minimize or even cease the misfiring of neurons. My goal is to cure schizophrenia. It's a lofty goal, but hey, magic is coming, and I do believe I have the potential, and I know I can do it. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna attempt, and I do believe I will succeed. And now I'm going to, and I experienced, I thought it was fibromyalgia. I thought, and multiple chemical sensitivity, because the truth is I did have I had cognitive like basically I couldn't focus, I couldn't concentrate, I was tired, my eyes burned, I was feeling pain all over my body temperature elevated when I smelled household chemicals, perfumes, cigarette smokes. Literally, I went outside and I was so weak. I was weak. I couldn't walk to the supermarket to get groceries to come back. I was incredibly weak for like the longest time. So it was chemical. I basically thought I had a multiple chemical sensitivity. And I read something, again, if I actually hadn't stuck to my routine of eating when I could, instead of eating just because I need to have something in my belly, I wouldn't have been able to do as much research as I did. And I think it's just an article that said that the reason why people with multiple chemical sensitivities get diagnosed with people diagnosed with schizophrenia or other psychotic mental illnesses is because of the fact that the neurons are basically not functioning well enough, and it's because of dis-ease. The neurons aren't firing that well, and it's because of dis-ease in the body. So emotional problems causes misfiring of neurons. So the fact that when I was in high school, I was very I had a lot of emotional. I bottled a lot of things up. I said, you know what, bipolar is a good understanding, because really I'm not this. I was never this way before. I had bursts of it, but I never actually had this understanding. And I have my playlist on random, and I meant to document every single song, and I didn't think I'd actually go to 37 minutes and 29 seconds, knowing that, yes, I did know. I really did know. So now all these songs are playing, and I don't know which ones they were, because it's not going to tell me. I guess actually what am I talking about? I could just watch this again. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, but anyways, I digress. So what I'm trying to say is that, so now bipolar disorder, like basically emotional dis-ease causes extra sensitivity. It causes the cells, the adipose cells, the cells that hold on to these toxins to basically not function properly, and that causes multiple chemical sensitivity. So the psychiatrists are just going to say, hey, you need to basically let go of your problems and just be better. Go to cognitive behavioral therapy, and your multiple chemical sensitivity will be gone. So I'm gonna hold to that bipolar disorder understanding. And it's also I'll heal that with expressive therapy. I want to dance. I want to act, and I want to sing. I want to be an entertainer. So like I'm that kind of understanding, like I'm going to train myself in ways. I'm going to do physical activities that I'm going to do exercises, and I'm going to do meditation and everything. But I'm okay. So now, okay. So now I'm looking around, and I found something about neuropathic pain. I had no idea there's something called neuropathic pain, and neuropathic pain is nerve damage or disease to the somatosensory nervous system, and it causes it causes two things. I'm not sure if it's just these two things, but these two things are the ones that stuck out because basically it's what's going on with me. So the first one is dysesthesia, dysesthesia, dysesthesia. I think that's how you pronounce it. And basically what that is just abnormal sensations. So in 2013, I basically thought I was having a seizure while conscious. I was laying in bed. I was like, it was time. I ate. It was time for me to go to sleep. So I was lying in bed and I was trying to I was trying to go to sleep, and like, I was trying to go to sleep. And what happened is that my body got rigid and I started feeling electrical currents go up and down throughout my body. And then it progressively, it felt as though someone was sitting on my chest, and they progressively got heavier and heavier. And I actually thought that I was actually going to pass out. And then it happened, after that one stopped, it started again, and it happened again. I thought I was actually having another seizure while I was conscious, and electrical currents just flow through my body. And also, my I was going through a whole psychic understanding, so I felt that, hey, I was encountered by a ghost, but I felt gripping, as if someone gripped my ankles in 2013, and then I felt a pull on my ankles, and anyways, it could have just been a ghost, but I'm going to say, hey, abnormal sensations in the body, because it felt like someone gripped my ankles, it felt, and it was a tight grip too. And now the other one is allodynia, 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 which is pain associated with a stimuli that is not normally a painful stimulus. And I'm like, what? How come, how is that? It's a neurological disorder. So how come the psychiatrist or how come or even my general practitioner even thought, because I've spoke to my general practitioner so many times about the pain. I every single time I go in, it's gotten worse. It's this, it's that. And neither of them, neither psychiatrist that I've had at both the UHN network, the University Health Network, and the Trillium Health Partners, neither of them basically said, hey, what about neuropathic pain? It's just, I have psychiatric problems. And so now I'm going to say, and hey, and neuropathic pain is associated with multiple sclerosis. And I got to heal myself. I can't, no one hears when I talk. So, it was evident. I was really, really pissed off at the psychiatric ward in Trillium Mississauga Hospital, just because I would say something and then they would repeat what I said to them and not even say what I said to them. And it's you're smarter than me, doctors. How is it that you can't hear properly? How is it that you cannot understand what I'm saying? So I'm just going to basically, I got to do this myself, and I'm going to do it myself, and I'm positive. Now this is an understanding that I wanted to take my so my medication is for nighttime, and I wanted to take my medication during the daytime. So I took my medication in the daytime, and I after 2 hours, I started feeling the exact same symptoms that I started feeling in the onset of my problems in January 2012. Literally the exact same problems. It was like a narcolepsy thing. I almost couldn't make it upstairs to basically to go to sleep. And when I woke, I got a call from one of the from the caseworker, and my speech was slurred. I couldn't I've had medication like risperidone. It makes you sleepy, right? But I've never been narcoleptic sleepy ever. I was taking 50 milligrams during the daytime too. I was taking 50 milligrams of risperidone during the daytime. It was 50 milligrams. And I've never actually felt the narcoleptic feeling ever from it. I do feel pain. I always complain to the nurse about feeling pain, but I've never actually, this was a really bad side effect. The 750 milligrams of divalproex sodium is an anticonvulsant as well as something that treats bipolar disorder. I've never been on it before. The psychiatrist at Trillium Hospital or Mississauga Hospital, Trillium Health Partners, said that, hey, they do it all the time, because I was taking 250 milligrams 3 times a day when I was in the hospital, and I did it for about 5-6 days. She said, yeah, no, they put it together all the time. So I take 750 milligrams at one time, and I'll be fine. And I wasn't. So excuse me. Yeah, so I guess this is really it. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of things. I'm going to be curing schizophrenia. And the way I believe I'd be curing schizophrenia is by being able to, well, actually, I have no idea yet. I don't know. I'm just going to do it by air. I'm doing it like this magical intuitive understanding, because I'm going to invent a proper understanding of what medical intuition is, and it's going to be based on actual practical and scientific deductions rather than just a feeling. I mean, I have no problems with it being like that, but I need that scientific understanding of medical intuition. I can't just say that I just felt it had to go like this. I actually had to feel it go somewhere, and then I tried specific things. And I guess that's basically what you do, right? You have the medical intuitive feels a certain way. They make you try this as an understanding. Like a homeopath would be considered a medical intuitive, because you tell them what's wrong with you. Or, I mean, as a medical intuitive, you don't tell them, I'm assuming. But you tell them what's with the homeopath. You tell them what's wrong with you. And then they say, you know what, I feel as though with all the problems you've been telling me, just as a holistic understanding, you might benefit from natrium or whatever one of them's called, natrium. And, you know, as a medical intuitive, you might just kind of sit there and use the energy understanding and say, you know what, you have a low sodium or low potassium, so you need to use some herb, whatever. But I'm not, the way I want to put medical intuition out there is that there's specific things that have been noticed in my life will be documented, and through series of exercises, just like the Shaolin monks when Kung Fu was invented. The Oriental master who invented Kung Fu, he basically saw that the Chinese people were being destroyed by invaders, and he needed to figure out how to train them and build their body and their strength and their chi to make it so that they were able to protect themselves. And that's how Kung Fu came about. I'm definitely going to be doing something like that. I need to basically bring forth an understanding through physical and empirical. I think it's empirical evidence, unless empirical means statistical. I don't know. Anyways, it's just going to be a physical evidence as well as experimental evidence, because, with this, my understanding of what I believe is stomach cancer, gastrointestinal cancer, I'm basically juicing, and I'm making soups, and I'm making smoothies for now. As an intuitive understanding, I don't do this for very long. I actually start implementing different things into my diet, because I mean, I did eat pancakes yesterday, and I mean, I shouldn't have, because it literally sits in my stomach. I feel it up in my throat. Like, I ate tiny pancakes about that big. Oh, sorry, I can't see it. About that big. And I had about 5 of them, and I felt it in my, I felt it up in here. It was literally bobbing up in my, it felt like I was filled with water after 5 pancakes, and I eat a lot of food. But anyways, I've been gone. It's 48 minutes and 24 seconds, but I actually got everything out. I don't believe I said anything that I need, but yeah, again, this live stream, it's probably already it probably went out, and it got thrown around. They've gotten a lot of memes. People are making fun of me. People are laughing, whatever. But like I said, I have to do it because I don't know how else to protect myself, and this is what I feel I need to do. And I mean, like I said, I sent the email to the admissions department of George Brown College. it was specifically to someone because it's specifically to the dean of strategy and innovation, only because I got the letter from him. So I figured, hey, talk to him. It was just what I thought. And I wrote a specific letter. I literally wrote a specific letter. I know what the letter said. I got an email returned to me, and the admissions department responded, and the email that they responded to was not the email that I sent. That was set to the attention of the dean of strategy of innovation at George Brown College. So someone with a lot of technological expertise is messing with me. So I have to basically figure out what to do, because that also means that a lot of things have been said about me, and a lot of things are being sent to other people using my name and my email address or whatever. And I don't know what to do. So I'm going to just live my life and just be me. And I don't care if anyone makes fun of me. I love myself. Adios. Au revoir.